How's it going, YouTube? This is the second video I was doing. I was doing the first one and Chrome crashed. The camera looks a bit blurry, trying to fix it up there. I want to do another video on growing up with alcoholic parents. I've got a lot of messages, private messages, and really encouraging, and it's a real issue out there. And so I want to do a video just talking to people about help and things that we can do to help ourselves. And one of those things we can do is write a journal. What I mean by journal is not a diary. A diary is something you write down in it every day. But what I mean is a journal where a more meaningful piece of writing from your heart, where you pick a subject or something and you write and you talk about it and you reflect. Growing up with alcoholic parents is very, very hard. One of the hardest things I think about it is the fact that these are our parents, our mothers, our fathers, people who are supposed to care for us, people who are supposed to show us how to live, give us life skills, teach us, be directors to us, really show us love, teach us, teach us right from wrong. When we're born, we're not born with any book or anything. Like you buy anything worth anything, you get a instruction manual. You don't get anything when you're born, but you're supposed to be given to living beings, supposed to be the best life instructors in the world. But unfortunately, through alcohol or other things, this sometimes doesn't happen. So going back to what I was saying, a journal, writing down a journal where you put down your feelings, your emotions, and tackle what happened and go through things is very good in my opinion. It's good because as you get older, say you get into a relationship, sometimes you can suddenly start dumping all your emotions onto your girlfriend or boyfriend, and this can be really wrong. It's a form of emotional blackmail. People can't handle it. People who didn't grow up with alcoholic parents or these sort of problems, they can't handle it. They don't know what to do, they don't know what to say, they feel pressurized. As much as sometimes they say they want to know, they don't really want to know. They want to help, but they don't want to help. They can't help you, to be honest, they can't. But in writing down in a journal, you can go through the process again, which can be hard, but you can grapple with it, you can wrestle with it, and you can overcome it. And that's what we're to be, overcomers. You can write down your feelings and really get all your feelings and emotions out of you and put them into perspective, because that's the key thing. If you don't put into perspective, they can overcome you. One thing I've noticed is that many people, especially celebrities who are caught in paedophilia, a lot of them will turn out and say, I was abused when I was a child, and it's true. A lot of them were abused as children, but it's a rubbish excuse. And what I mean by that is basically what I think's happening is the sort of thing that the victim went through has now overcome them, and they've become the actual abuser now. And I've seen it in other people who grew up with alcoholic parents, that it happened to them, and as they've grown up, they've gone to drinking to release the stress, to find some sort of peace. And before they know it, it's overcome them, and it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so, it's really important that we step away from this. And one of the reasons that leads to that is the emotional imbalance in ourselves. We've never been taught how to deal with our emotions. We've never really had that sort of teaching found in. I've got a son now, and sometimes my wife she'll something will happen, and my son will start crying, and my wife should be like, she kind of ignores him. You're in trouble now. And I've said to you the other day, you know what? I know he's in trouble, but we got to comfort him in that trouble, to let him, help him deal with those emotions. That sometimes he wants something and he'll start crying and crying. He's not getting it. Like the other day, sometimes there was something the other day he wanted in the kitchen. I can't remember, and he didn't get it. Cry. And I took him and I hugged him and I was telling him I loved him in his ear, and he's still crying. But and I tell my missus, it's important that we show him that he's loved. Even though he can't get this thing, even though we're stopping him from having it, he's very much loved. And it's, for him, he's got these emotions and he doesn't know how to handle them, this bad feeling in his heart. And that's the kind of thing that we've never had. But writing a journal will help you see that, will help you deal with those things and overcome them things. And to stop those emotions overcoming you. I know in my relationships, in my past in particular, I used to get so angry sometimes. I felt like I was misunderstood, and I'd have this anger rise up in me. And when you get angry, you become incredibly selfish. You can't see anyone else. And even though I am the victim, I now become the problem, because I start mashing things up, I start breaking things up, I start swearing and shouting, and now I'm not that little boy anymore, I'm a big man now. And it's a problem, and you know, these are things that we have to deal with. And so yeah, and there was another thing. I remember I actually was a Samaritan that the phone people for. I did it for a few months, about 6 months or so, and people would call me up and tell me their stories, and I'd talk to them. And I remember we were told we can't really give sort of advice as such. We have to just listen to people, tell people that's how terrible that is. You know, how do you want to talk about it? How do you feel? But you know, people could call up and say they want to commit suicide, and we couldn't really tell them, don't do it. You know, your life is, you've got meaning in life, overcome this. And so that's one of the reasons why I left it. And I remember when we'd stop talking, we'd have to tell the person beside us to offload these emotions. And I kind of felt sometimes it was a bit, sometimes pointless. And that's what I mean by doing a journal. When you do a journal, you write it down, and then you can read over it, and you can see the problems in your thinking, you can see where there's issues and what you need to learn and grow. And that's really, really important to reflect, and this will help you reflect and overcome those emotions. You know, and another point, it is the emotions that are the problem. You know, some of us were beaten, some of us were maybe in rape, sexually abused, some of us had mixtures of it, some of us, you know, verbally abused, you know. But the main issue again is the lack of love, the lack of tender heartedness we receive. And it's those emotions that grow. You know, a bruise can heal, a scar, it heals, you have it there, you might forget about it. But it's the emotions that don't heal. You know, it's that does not heal. In fact, they get toxic, they get poisonous, and they can really mess up your thinking. A lot of you know, any you've grown up with, any people watching this who are a child of an alcoholic, you know what it's like to go through the pain, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like no one understands you, feeling, you know, relating to the lyrics on Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, where he sings, I don't want to die, but I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. And that's how a lot of us feel sometimes. You know, we don't want trouble, we don't understand. Yeah, so anyhow, writing a journal will help you overcome that, will help you in your life and to become productive, good people. You know, and I hope this helped. Yeah, God bless, bye bye.